Hello, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I am Jane Lee, Deputy Head at Shawley, and I've put together this little presentation just to try and help you understand a little bit more about the phonics that your children will be learning as they begin their time at Shawley. I would usually do this face-to-face with parents, but unfortunately, in the current circumstances, that's not possible. So hopefully this is the next best thing. So I'm sharing my screen with you, and basically what I want to do is go through a few of the terms that you might hear your children using as they learn phonics at school. So first of all, a CVC word. This is a consonant vowel consonant word. Dog, pin, ship, because it's made of a consonant sound, which is the S and the H together, making sh, along with a vowel sound, I, and another consonant sound, p. Okay, then there's the CVC word, which could be grip or flat. So basically you've got two consonants making two separate sounds at the beginning, a vowel in the middle and a consonant at the end. Then we talk about phonemes. So a phoneme is the smallest unit of sound in a word. So sheep, although it has 5 letters, actually has 3 phonemes. Grip has only 4 letters, but each one makes its own separate sound. So then we've got a digraph where we've got 2 letters that go together to make one sound. So like the E in sheep or the A in rain. And a split digraph is 2 letters that have been split by another letter to make one sound. So for example, the A and the E working together to make the A sound in make. We might have been taught it as a magic E when we were at school, but this term isn't used in schools anymore. So a tricky word is a word that we can't sound out phonetically. So the children learn these alongside the alphabetic code and the sounds that letters make. So words such as the, what, was. Okay. Then we also, in phonics lessons, talk about segmenting words in order to spell them. So you split it up into its individual phonemes so that you can work out which letters make each phoneme and attempt to spell it. In reception, you might hear or see the children trying to stretch a word so that they can then count the phonemes on their fingers. And when you blend a word, you're basically blending the sounds together so that you can form the word. So the d-og says dog. Okay, so at school, we follow the Letters and Sounds programme. It's a programme of phonic word aimed at securing fluent word recognition skills for reading and writing by the end of Key Stage 1. So it's very progressive, and the children in reception are obviously at the earliest stages of letters and sounds. So phase 1. This is all about being able to hear and distinguish different sounds, because before children can learn what sounds letters make, we need to make sure that they're actually distinguishing between different sounds. So nursery rhymes, stories, music, drama have a huge part to play in this phase. The activities are mainly adult-led, and there's a real focus on oral blending and segmenting. So things like robot talking, where we might sound out a word so that the children can hear it and try and work out what the word is. So if we use the word dog, for example, we might say, oh, can you pass me the toy? D-og, to see if they can hear the sounds and blend them together. Really important that they're play-based, fun-based, and focused on enriching the children's language. So there are 7 strands to phase 1. There's the environmental sounds, so the sounds that children can hear out and about and around them. There's the different sounds that instruments can make. Our body percussion, so clapping, slapping thighs, clicking fingers, different things like that. The rhythm and the rhyme that they hear in nursery rhymes. Alliteration, where we might make up silly sentences where lots of words begin with the same sound. Their own voice sounds, all the different things that they can do with their voice, and then the oral blending and segmenting, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, so phase 1 can continue throughout reception. It's not something that the children get to the end of. It might be referred to over and over and over again on a day-to-day basis. But very soon your children will be starting phase 2. So the purpose of phase 2 is to teach the phoneme and the grapheme for 19 different letters. The phoneme is the sound that the letter makes. The grapheme is what it looks like when it's actually written down. So you can see on my screen there that this is a suggested sequence from letters and sounds. That's the order that the sounds are taught in. So small groups, mainly 4 letters in each group, and as early as possible, the blending and the segmenting start. So hence if the s, at, p, I, n, as soon as those letters are taught, there's quite a lot of words that you can make just from those letters. The children will move from oral blending and segmenting to blending and segmenting with the letters, and they will read and possibly spell 2-syllable words and simple captions. So when they get to the end of phase 2, they move into phase 3. There are another 25 graphemes, and most of them comprise of 2 letters. So you can see that very early on in the letters and sound sequence, the children are learning to recognise those digraphs such as the CH and the SH as being one sound. They continue to practice the CVC blending and segmentation and apply that knowledge to reading and spelling 2-syllable words and captions. And they will also begin to learn the letter names and more tricky words. So remember, tricky words are the words that can't be phonetically sounded out with the children's knowledge of the sounds that they've learnt so far. So you can see down at the bottom of the screen, he, she, me, be, was, my, you, they, her, all, are. Those are words that the children practice recognising just by sight. Okay, so in order to be ready for writing, the children need to develop their fine motor skills so that they can hold the pencil correctly. And just to be really clear, correct holding of a pencil is between the index finger and the thumb. It doesn't matter what these fingers are doing as long as the pencil is held between the first finger and the thumb. They need a comfortable grip in order to be able to form the letters correctly, and also to build on their stamina for writing as well, because if it's uncomfortable, they're likely to give up very easily. So things like threading beads, picking up small objects, using tweezers, playing with Play-Doh, making jigsaws, doing different creative activities, all help to develop those fine motor skills that are necessary for writing. Okay, so how can you help at home? So the children will very soon be bringing a yellow phonics book home, and in there will be the sounds that they are learning for that week. And Mrs. Harrison also usually puts it on the board outside Panda's classroom so that you can see, well, you used to be able to see when you took the children to the classroom, but maybe she could put it on a notice board so that you can see and check the yellow book for which sounds that they're learning. Making CVC words with magnetic letters, writing shopping lists so that you can tell the child what you need from the shops and they can have a go at sounding out the words. Playing segmenting and blending games such as telling your child to touch their eat or put on your oat. Playing I Spy and including the blending in I Spy. So I Spy something that sounds like at. So going back to phase 1, thinking about something that rhymes with hat. And then singing nursery rhymes and songs. It's proven that children that know a wide range of nursery rhymes find learning phonics much easier, and it affects all sorts of other areas as well. Practicing the tricky words that we send home, sticking them somewhere prominent, like next to your child's bed, so it's the last thing they see when they turn off the light and it's the first thing that they see in the morning. Okay, and then playing games on the computer. Phonics Play has a range of games that are suitable for each phase as they're learning, and then also looking for letters in the environment. So, you know, remember to begin with to use the sound of the letter and not the name. Okay, so Asda begins with A, not A. Okay, so thinking about the sounds of letters, the way that you pronounce a letter, the way that you say it is really, really important. It can really affect a child's ability to blend and segment correctly. They need to be articulated clearly and precisely. And I always give people a hint that if you're not sure how a letter should sound, think of how it sounds at the end of a word. So if you say a word like book, you can hear the k at the end that doesn't actually use your voice, because the mistake I think that some people make is when they say k, and actually that's not really helping, because if we sound out the word book as b-a-k, we can hear book. If we sound out b-a-k, it actually sounds like bucker, and that's not going to help the children. So I'm going to run through the sounds in the order that they will be taught and have a go at pronouncing them clearly and precisely so that you get to hear them for yourselves. So we've got s, a, t, p. Hear that I'm not using my voice for the T and the P. I, n, m, g. G, o, k, k. Another k, e, a, r. And then we've got h, so no voice again, h, b, f, f. L, s. J, v, w, x. The X one is a tricky one, but we teach the children to think a bit like a kiss when they've put little kisses on a birthday card. So it's like a kiss, but without the X. And then we've got y, z, z, qu, ch, sh, f, ng. Going back to the TH, again, we say to the children, this is the only time that you're allowed to stick your tongue out at the teacher. So we don't say th or the, we say th. Then we've got A, E, I, O, U, R, or, ow, oi, ear, y, Okay, and that's it. So hopefully that will be of some use, and a few little hints there on how to support the children as they begin learning their phonics at school. Okay, thank you. Bye. And I will stop recording once I can get my